give me land, lots of land, and the starry skies above. Don't fence me in, let me ride through the wide open country that I love.
Don't fence me in. Welcome into the Friday edition of the Allman Report. My name is Chris Arps, and I am the co-host of the Tim Jones and Chris Arps Show, which you will hear later on the STL network here at 4 o'clock. But wow, I am filling in for Jamie Allman. This is the first time I have ever substitute hosted for the great Jamie Allman, who is out of town today. And he is out of town Monday as well. My partner, Tim Jones, will be filling in for him on Monday. Usually you have Stel Ponticus, who is on the Wheels of Steel, but we have my good friend, Ethan Valencia, who I have not seen you in a while, my friend. How are you? The beard's looking good there.
Oh,
you're growing it out.
That's funny. Yeah, just cleaned it up today before I came out.
You got any tips for me? I mean, what should I do to keep it well groomed like that? It looks well groomed.
Don't get me started. I just bought a razor, man. I've been using an electric shaver my whole life till now, so the razor is cool. But it is funny today, right? Because we're both filling in.
Yes,
so
we are.
This is the wrong show.
This is the B team.
The B team has shown up this Friday.
So we're going to try to entertain you. Of course, there is a lot going on today. We'll jump into the Elon Musk, Donald Trump feud, of course. But Ethan, before we get into that, I just want to take time out and commemorate the 81st anniversary today of D-Day. Of course, happened January 6th. 1944. That was the Allied invasion of Europe that many say was the beginning of the end of the war in Europe. You know, we don't celebrate those type of things as much anymore. The greatest generation, as they call them, they are passing on. There's very few of them now. The ones that are left, they're in their 90s and in their hundreds right now. I want to thank, again, Vic Porcelli and Ken Williams on the show prior to this show. They're having their homage to veterans every day, and they honored my great uncle, Melly Arps Jr., for his service in World War II. If you didn't hear the audio, of course, you can hear that on the podcast on newstalkstl.com. And what they played was an interview that was done by my great uncle's local television station. He lived in Tyler, Texas. And about 17 years ago, they were doing a special on East Texas veterans who had served in our various wars, from World War II on down to Vietnam. And my family there in East Texas, they sent in his information. They came to his house and they interviewed him about his exploits in World War II. And what you heard there was that interview. And as I said earlier, like so many World War II veterans, I had no idea that he was a war hero. Our family did not know that at all. He won 2 Bronze Stars in World War II, fighting in Italy and in France. And I'm very proud of the exploits that were, pointed out in the video. One of the exploits of my great uncle to win his Bronze Star was he recounts a story on Thanksgiving Day when the troops were relaxing and kind of off guard a little bit, and they noticed that there were some German troops that were heading their way. They didn't really have a lot of time to seek cover or run, so my great uncle, he stood up, he grabbed a machine gun, and he mowed some of the German soldiers down, and they ran and retreated and saved a lot of lives that day. And that was the first of his Bronze Stars that he was awarded. I don't know what the second star was for. And then also in the video, they told of an exploit when they were in Germany. They wanted to build a bridge over a river. They wanted to do it during the daytime, but my great uncle said it'd be suicide trying to build this bridge during the day. So they built the bridge at night, right underneath the surface of the water. And he tells a humorous story that after the bridge was completed, he and the soldiers were walking across that bridge. And when the German soldiers saw them walking on the water and couldn't see what they were walking on, the German soldiers turned around and started running. And he also recounts the interviewer asked him about being a African-American in World War II in the service, and he was part of the the heralded Buffalo Soldier Unit. He said he faced a lot of discrimination, but he made it through and served his country. And I love at the end of the video when she was asked the interviewer asked him how he felt about making it through, coming back alive. He said he was grateful and thankful to God. And my great uncle, who's not with us anymore now, was a pastor and was a strong believer in the faith. And so he was one of the many, many heroes that saved us from the tyranny of Hitler and Mussolini and all of them. We will forever be grateful for their service. So thank you, Vic. Thank you, Ken, again for honoring my great uncle. Ethan, you have any folks, any war heroes or anybody that served that you know of, and they don't have to be a hero, period, just somebody that you want to acknowledge on this D-Day?
It's interesting. I believe, my great grandfather served in World War II,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't get to meet him. So it's just longer ago than I guess sometimes we realize.
Yeah,
It's like you were saying.
It's a long time.
They would be very, very old now if they were still with us.
Yeah, there are, according to statistics, there are 66,000 living World War II vets. That's according to the Department of Veterans Affairs. So to be honest with you, I was surprised there were that many of them, because these guys are in their 90s and 100 now. They're not young folks.
Man, we gotta, if people are doing interviews, people should find those guys. Get that. And I know there's no shortage of World War II interviews out there, but let's get a few more before
everybody. But everybody's story is unique. Everybody has a different story, and that's what I always. I have taken from doing this job, talk show host and everything. People think they have mundane jobs or they're not very interesting. But if you talk to them and quiz them and inquire a little bit in them, everyone has some type of experience that's unique, or they have a special talent or something. Everybody has something that is unique about themselves.
I remember, the last time I saw an interview with a World War II veteran, because by this point they're old enough that was just one part of their life. They've had a whole life since then. And he was talking, he was an old guy, but he was still healthy. And he said he smokes a cigar every day and has some whiskey. And I'm like, okay, so the rules for being healthy are just not clear to me.
Is this the same guy? He's black. There's a black guy.
Yes. Okay, he was a World War II vet.
He's like 112 years old. He's like the oldest veteran still alive. And he's like 110, 11 years old. He smokes cigars. He still drinks a little bourbon every now and then.
Is he still with us?
He's still with us, because I've seen that recently. Now, I'd be surprised if he said he still drove and got around.
There you go. Eventually, that's got to go. But
then I'd be like, you are the man. But yeah, I've seen it. And he looks good for a guy that's over 100 years old. I would think he was probably in his 80s. He does not look that old.
On a side note, I guess that's a statistic I heard a long time ago, is that people who are in their 90s are statistically healthier as a group than people who are in their 80s. And they can go 90. I guess the idea is that if you if your health deteriorates, it'll deteriorate in your 80s. But if you're very healthy, you will.
And what I've experienced with my family, my parents are deceased now, and I've noticed this with other instances of people with older parents, is that once someone has a health issue or is sick, it's usually pretty quickly that something else adds on it, or that illness deteriorates them even more. So if you are able to get past any type of illnesses, I think that's the main reason you get to 90 is you've been pretty illness free for the most of your life.
I guess you're right. I guess you're right. It's kind of just about avoiding that whatever thing would cause a swift deterioration. But
Ethan, have you heard anything about this Elon Musk, Donald Trump thing going on? You heard anything about
it came to me as a meme. It was Alien versus Predator as a t-shirt, but it was Elon Musk on the left and Trump on the right looking at each other. But that's all I actually really know about it.
Would you think that I was absolutely crazy or nuts if I told you that I am not completely convinced that this is a real feud between Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Tesla stock has dropped before this. A lot of his business interests have dropped. Of course, the lefties have left him because they view him as a Republican now. The board members of his companies are freaking out because he's not there running them anymore. Maybe he needed a very public split like this with the president to try to show his board members, show others that I'm not as closely in line with the president as I once was before. Trust me now. I mean, I was talking about this yesterday on the show. I mean, I can imagine Donald Trump and Elon Musk about 2:00 in the morning, because I'm sure people like them don't sleep. They're always wired and up. Like, okay, and Elon's like, okay, I'm going to say this about you. You know, don't take it personally, but I think this will really get it across to people that we are feuding. I don't know, Ethan, am I conspiratorial? Do I have a tinfoil? Do I need to go out in the car and get my tinfoil hat?
Well, I'll tell you, I am agreeable with that viewpoint. That was kind of my first thought too. I thought, hey, this could be beneficial for Musk to or for even
Trump
for both
plays
of them.
4D chess, right? Don't they say
Exactly?
Right.
Why wouldn't you? If you can stir up some drama because you're the most famous couple in the world right now, why not stir some drama?
And what is a way to make this really, really, really believable that you've had a split with the president? People are like, oh, okay, you hate the bill. Yeah, right. But you're still cool. I mean, to say that the president is in the Epstein files and calling for impeachment, I think that's one of those things that are like, yeah, this will sell it.
No, you're right. That was like the one thing that you would pick to really sell it. So
I don't know. We're hearing that, of course, the White House is responding. When break? 22 after?
Just about, yeah.
Okay. We are hearing that the White House, of course, is responding back. They are saying, this is from Politico. They're saying the president is worried that Elon is not well and is just kind of freaking out. But said, of course, Trump will punch at whoever punches him if they think he is wrong. Steve Bannon, who has not been a fan of Elon Musk, and when Elon Musk first came into the White House, he made it clear he thought he was a MAGA interloper and that he should not be trusted. This was the reaction from Steve Bannon yesterday. He said, quote, "I told you so. He invited his family to Christmas dinner. He let him sleep over. He let him walk in and out of meetings. The president went to the max informality to welcome this guy." He said, "You're going to tell me we should allow some effing punk to sit there and say he should be impeached and JD Vance should step up? F you, dude. We're going to go to effing war and I'm going to rip your effing face off." So I think Steve Bannon is not happy about Mr. Musk's tirade there. Maybe he didn't get the memo, and maybe Donald Trump, president, has to say, "Hey, Steve, this is all part of an act, man. Chill out." Or maybe he even helps it seem more realistic.
That's kind of maybe that too, right? Maybe he got the memo and said, "Be outraged."
All right, I've got some more Elon Musk Trump banner we will talk about when we come back from the break, and some other big news of the day, some immigration news. Our friend Christiane Amanpour, you remember her from CNN. She said some things that were controversial about this country's immigration policy. I'll tell you that on the Allman Report on 101.9 94.1 News Talk STL.
A bright girl, and you, my bright girl.
If you have a phone, you have a radio. Download the all-new News Talk STL app.
Love the all-new News Talk STL app.
And listen anytime, anywhere.
Ladies and gentlemen, Proctor spelled like doctor. Doctor. There's no extra O or U in doctor. It's Proctor spelled like doctor. ProctorDrapery.com. And I will tell you that Michael is a great guy. And let me tell you something. He comes at a fantastic value. So a lot of people who are doing window treatments, I'm talking about plantation shutters, drapes, whatever it happens to be, they have the Roman shades and he has the motorized shades and all that kind of stuff. But a lot of people who are doing the home improvement in that way with window treatments ongoing, usually sometimes hire like a interior designer before they even talk to somebody about window treatments. Well, Michael Proctor is an interior designer. He's your interior designer. He is your presenter of all your options. So he has all that kind of stuff, procuring all your options. And he's also the installer. So he doesn't farm out the installation to another company. That's how really dedicated Michael is to quality and making sure you're happy and making sure that the buck always stops with him and nobody else, because he takes great pride in his materials and great pride in his expertise, great pride in his prices, and he also has a mobile design unit that you're absolutely going to love. This mobile design unit comes directly to your door. With all the samples you need, so you can see it all in living color in your house. Michael's a hard worker, dedicated to quality, dedicated to value for you, and dedicated certainly to price. That fits into the whole value quotient as well. Proctor Drapery, proctordrapery.com. Proctor, spelled like doctor.
Success. It's discipline. It's teamwork. It's the drive and passion inside of us that comes before all recognition. It's the best in each of us, made better by the best in all of us. Whatever success looks like to you, Stifel is invested in yours. That's why Stifel is one of the fastest growing global wealth management firms in the country. So whether you're an advisor or an investor, choose Stifel, where success means success. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Remember those magical moments in Mom's kitchen? The heavenly aroma of fresh baked cookies? At Trolley Stop Bakery in Chesterfield's Forum Shopping Center, our co-op of talented bakers has been perfecting that homemade magic for 4 decades. From the gooeyest cookies in town to custom pies, cobblers, and cakes, everything's made from scratch, just like Mom and Grandma's recipes. Need that perfect corporate gift? We ship our famous cookies nationwide. The Trolley Stop Bakery, 67 Forum Shopping Center, or TrolleyStopBakery.com. Because some traditions are too sweet not to share.
Parents want more choices rather than fewer when it comes to their children's education. And now some Missouri parents will have one more option to get their children the best education available. Low-income students and those with disabilities in Missouri's largest communities can now apply for an Empowerment Scholarship Account, or ESA. With an ESA, the money the state would normally pay to your child's public school goes into an account that you control. You can use the funds for private school tuition, online learning programs, a private tutor, or other approved uses. You can tailor your child's education. For too long, Missouri officials have operated on the mistaken notion that parents only need one choice. They're assigned public school based on their address. ESAs put parents in charge. It's school choice at its best, with money following the students to the place that best fits their needs. Learn more at showmeinstitute.org. This Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
No big old corporate lib AM station telling us what to say here. Conservative talk for St. Louis. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
Ah, 1226 on the Allman Report. Chris Arp sitting in for the great Jamie Allman. I will be, of course, with my partner Tim Jones later this afternoon at 4 to 6. And Ethan Valencia just made me feel like a completely old man. He played this great song from my childhood and said he didn't know this one.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's cool. I'll say that. I'm into it. I might download it on my iTunes now.
This was a jam. Foghat was a huge rock band in the 70s. Why this song has significance for me, Ethan. I lived in North County, and we used to have a skating rink called Aloha that was up in Spanish Lake. And they used to have, during the skating sessions, they'd have the slow skates and the couple skates and all that. But they also had a thing they called the fast skate, where you could just get out there and just skate as fast as you can around the circle. And this is the song they used to play for the fast skate, Riding the Storm. Let that play a little bit. Yeah, good memories there. All right. I can't believe you've never heard of that before. Wow. Have you ever heard of the band Foghat?
No.
Okay.
But we have other writing the storm-related songs
Yes,
coming up
yes,
today.
yes.
So I at least know other ones.
Joey's a couple of days late on that. I wanted him to play some storm-related songs on Wednesday when we were having the tornado warnings and thought we were going to have to row home. And I said, Joey, I've got a bunch of rain-related storm songs would be perfect. I wanted to show him my genius. But anyway. All right, let's get back into this, to the Elon Musk, Donald Trump feud. It is reported that Elon Musk and the president are scheduled to have a call today to maybe try to put an end to this feud, if it is a feud. I said this yesterday on the show. I think that both men have a lot to lose if there is a prolonged feud in this. I think when it comes to who will win the hearts of Republicans and the MAGA base, I think, of course, they will stick with Donald Trump. Elon Musk cannot win that battle. But I think the real danger of Elon Musk, if this feud is real, is using his money and his influence to, in the short term, throw a complete monkey wrench in the big, beautiful bill, which we need to get that passed, or taxes are going to go up dramatically. Or he could be a huge monkey wrench when it comes to the midterm elections next year. There's a very slim margin of in the House, 2 or 3 members give the Republicans the majority. It's more of a cushion in the Senate, but not much. Elon has talked about starting his own party, his own political party. He's maybe could talk about maybe giving money to primary Republicans who vote for the big beautiful bill. I don't know. He has a lot of leverage in that respect. Also, the Musk has a lot to lose in this as well. The president has threatened his contracts when it comes to SpaceX and other government contracts he has. The president has shown a propensity to eliminate contracts and to eliminate standing deals like that. We've seen with Harvard and with the Yale community. So I think they could both be hurt very, very badly in the short term and the long run. I think the thing that's really makes this feud, this spat, very interesting is Donald Trump has huge support among the base. He is very politically savvy. He's very media savvy. He has been able to use that to destroy his opponents from the 2016 primary all the way up to 2024, and his Democratic opponents and those that the never Trumpers that are within our midst. He's been very, very good at doing that. But Elon Musk is worth $300 billion, and he has a lot of money, and he has a platform with 200 million followers on it. And I think he is the only one that I've ever seen since Donald Trump has come on the political scene that could literally go toe to toe with Donald Trump and could take a little economic pain in the short term. He could only do that in the short term because, all of his money is involved in Tesla and SpaceX, and they have shareholders, of course, and that the stock continues to drop in value. That hurts his personal portfolio and hurts the portfolio of the shareholders. So he can't do that continuously. But if this feud, as I said, if this feud is real, then both men could be hurt financially with Elon Musk and politically with Donald Trump. Another huge supporter of the president, I forgot his title within the government, and it's Peter Navarro. He is the one that was talking about getting rid of some of Elon Musk's contracts. He said that the president should draft executive orders implementing the Defense Production Act to seize SpaceX and Starlink and put them under government management until the time that all the investigations into Musk are complete. I forgot to preface that as he wants to have investigations into Elon Musk. He's also called for investigations into Musk's immigration status, his security clearance, drug use, and supposed involvement with the Chinese Communist Party, among other allegations. And there were allegations of drug use. The New York Times had a story out this week talking about Elon Musk's use of ketamine a very strong drug during the campaign. I talked a little bit about this yesterday on my show. I'm trying to find the report, but some of the people were saying that that Elon was carrying around a drug case that had like 20 different pills in it, that he was acting very strangely, and that he was having bladder urinary problems, which is supposed to be one of the side effects of using too much ketamine. So when you read this story that was in the New York Times, it sounds like that there are people that were within the White House that dropped this story to the New York Times. Maybe they knew in advance that maybe Elon Musk was not going to leave very quietly. Excuse me. Yesterday, Tesla shares, they dropped 14.3%. Elon Musk lost just under $20 billion in one day. There's also the feud has cost Donald Trump. He has had an 8% decline in his media and technology company, which cost President about $200 million. But the biggest hit to President Trump's bottom line is his meme coin, which has been down, had a 10% decline because of this feud. That potentially costs the president about $900 million. So this feud is hurting both of them financially, hurting them in some circles politically, and people are calling for a detente, a truce. I'm sure on the Tim Jones and Chris Arp show later on today at 4 o'clock, we'll have more news on the meeting that happened, the phone call, between, between Elon Musk and the president. Hopefully, they can hash this out. I know that if you read a lot of social media, and especially in the MAGAverse, that folks are very upset to see these two having this feud. Elon Musk was a big helper in getting President Trump elected president of the United States. He spent, $200 million. Spent $200 million on the president's behalf. He also spent millions of dollars trying to help elect Republican candidates. So, Musk did say a few weeks ago, as he was beginning to leave the heading Doge, that he was going to cut back dramatically on his election spending. We shall see now if that is something that will be permanent. Donald Trump has completely changed the landscape when it comes to political allegiances. The Republican Party has become more of a working class party, a party more aligned with the working man. Josh Hawley has seen this trend, and we have seen him in the last couple of years take a more populist bent than what you'd see from a normal Republican, not normal Republican, but from a traditional Republican. The New York Times has done a study on just how successful Trump has been since his past three elections. According to their research, Trump has increased the Republican Party's share of the presidential vote in 40% of America's counties, 1,433 out of 3,143. In comparison, the Democrats grew their vote in each of the past three elections in only 57 counties, under 2%. What this shows with this surge at the county level, that it shows the degree that the United States now looks like it's heading in two directions. You have those in flyover country where we're at, the more conservative red states, and then you basically have the left coast and the right coast. And unfortunately for the left, they believe that everyone in the middle believes like they do on the left and right coast. And that's why they are doing so poorly in these elections. Another statistic from this article, 435 counties voted more Democratic in 2024 than did so in 2025 by an average improved margin of 8.8%. But 2,678 counties became more Republican by an average of 13.3%. That's 6 times as many counties moving towards the GOP than toward the Democratic Party. and by a substantially wide margin. So we've all seen since, I think, 2000, when this map became really prominent, is when you see the big county map after a presidential election, and you'll see the United States, and it will be just a complete sea of red, except in little blue splotches. Say if you look at Missouri will be completely red, except in Kansas City, Columbia, and in St. Louis. Other than that, it's completely red. And according to this study by the New York Times, if you pulled up that map and compared it from 2000, which was a sea of red for George Bush, to 2024, where it's a sea of red for Donald Trump, you'd see it even more red than it was before. We have talked about some of the huge gains that Donald Trump has made within the African-American male community. 25% of the vote total tally that he received in 2024. We've talked about some of the reasons for that on the Tim Jones and Chris Arp show. As an African-American, I think more than anything, Black males are tired of being demasculinized, if that's a word. We hear of toxic masculinity. We hear now in the Democratic Black political class that the women are the leaders now, and the men should just stand aside and let them lead because you've done such a terrible job. You look at the Great Society programs from the 60s, where the man was told not to be in the home unless if the mother wanted to have benefits. So the African-American male has been marginalized. And I think Donald Trump shows it comes across as a strong figure. Those of my generation who grew up with rap in the 80s and 90s knew that Donald Trump was a staple in any rap song. If you want to have a rap song that was successful, you rapped about Donald Trump. We've all seen the pictures of Donald Trump receiving a award from the NAACP. There's a famous picture of him, Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, all of them receiving medals or something from the NAACP. Of course, it was only when Donald Trump became president and we knew what his political views were, that he was a Republican, that's when they all turned on him. But besides the great expanses that we have seen within the African-American male vote in particular, what a great gain that we've seen among Latinos. For the first time ever in history, a Republican president received a majority of Latino vote. Of course, that is shown here in these county map. The biggest swing in the nation since 2012, moving 89 percentage points in Mr. Trump's favor. That is his Latino gains when it comes to the counties. Other findings within this study: Republicans are overwhelmingly making gains in working class counties. Democrats are improving almost exclusively in wealthier areas. Republicans are running up the score in counties where fewer people have attended college. Democrats are gaining ground in a small sliver of the best educated enclaves. And if that says it right there, the parties in a 10-year period, which is absolutely amazing, have literally done a flip in the voters that they attract. And I think the Republican Party becoming more of a working man, blue collar party, I think bodes well for the party, because that's where the majority of people are going to have always been and where they will be. And I think that is a great future there for the Republican Party in the United States. All right, it is 12:41. Chris Arp sitting in for the great Jamie Allman. My partner, Speaker Tim Jones, will be filling in on Friday. But we'll be back with some more news on the Allman Report on News Talk STL 1019 94.1.
Thanks for taking my call. News, analysis, opinion.
Radio news junkie. Love every bit about it.
News Talk STL.
Well, I think we're out of the woods as it relates to a ton of rain, but in the aftermath of all the rain and the flooding and your basement problems, I want you to get into the woods. That is Woods Basement Systems. JamieLovesWoods.com. If you guys are tired of being at the office and it's raining, you know when you get home, you're going to have to get a bunch of stuff off the floor because it's wet. You're going to have to wet vac, and the property value of your home is going to go right down the tubes because, man, I'll tell you, I show a lot of homes when people go into the basement and there's signs of water, they are out. They are over. So all things basement-y with Woods Basement Systems, waterproofing, foundation repair, crack, or whatever it happens to be, they will fill it for you. I've used them twice with 2 different homes, and Dave and the gang are great at what they do. Really great price performers. You can see that in all of their Google reviews and beyond. Woods is going to give you a special offer if you go ahead and contact them through JamieLovesWoods.com, JamieLovesWoods.com. And that is where you're going to find all things basement-y and solutions to your problems once and for all. It's frustrating, and I understand that, so hopefully you all can get it solved once and for all, and make sure also you are holding on to that value of the home by making sure your basement is dry. JamieLovesWoods.com. That's JamieLovesWoods.com.
This is Katie McKinney, founder and head of school for Lafayette Academy in Lake St. Louis. Recently, we had a new second grader come to Lafayette Academy who claimed he was stupid and hated reading. Within months of using our world-class literacy program, he was reading Harry Potter and loving it. He had just not been given the right tools. We invite you to our open house Wednesday, June 25th from 5 till 7 and hear from our current families and learn more about our dedicated teachers and world-class curriculum. To learn more, go to LafayetteAcademy.org. That's LafayetteAcademy.org.
Yo, this is Vic. All during the month of June, Vic for Vets is proudly honoring our veterans. Every weekday at 11:05, you'll hear about that day's honoree and their incredible service to our country.
Hi, it's Ken. You want to nominate a veteran? Send their name, service information, and story to me, Ken, at newstalkstl.com.
Brought to you by Best Buy Flooring, Patriot Heating and Cooling, and DG Firearms.
Together, let's celebrate the heroes in our community, Vic for Vets, where honor meets gratitude.
Attention, reptile lovers. Ready to discover your next scaly friend? Welcome to the Show Me Reptile Shop, your ultimate destination for fascinating reptiles and exotic pets, with 3 convenient locations in Troy, St. Peters, and Springfield. We have an amazing selection of snakes, lizards, turtles, and more. Whether you're a seasoned herpetologist or a curious beginner, we've got the perfect pet waiting for you. Show Me Reptile Shop. Visit us in Troy, St. Peters, or Springfield, and online at showmereptileshow.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, Newsteaders fine jewelry right there at Doherty Ferry and Big Bend. And I want to make sure you know, well, of course you know, Father's Day is on the way. And I often talk about all of the beautiful jewelry for the ladies and, of course, for the couples. So we've got those beautiful diamond engagement settings, all kind of things with the lab-grown diamonds as well as the mine diamonds. The lab-growns are great. And then, of course, all of the gemstones, the emeralds and the rubies and things like that, all amazing and totally beautiful. All the gold jewelry and everything else. But let's not forget about the men. And ladies and gentlemen, I am sporting this. It is my Frank Sinatra Bulova watch. And of course, it is the watch of choice for Frank Sinatra. They're great watches, high quality, and really good looking. And the Frank Sinatra line comes with, it's kind of cool. It comes in a case that looks like a 45 record, like an LP or whatever. And then on the front of it, it of course has the Frank Sinatra fedora right there on the front at the noon mark, the midnight mark. And on the back, of course, it's a song of choice, whatever it happens to be. And so it's really, everything about it is really kind of special and vintage and really super cool. The Bulova watch line is beautiful and a perfect gift for dad. So check it out right there on the web, wowdiamonds.com, wowdiamonds.com. Newsteaders fine jewelry right there at Doherty Ferry in Big Bend.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Dr. Bob Onder has hung out with both Trump and Elon. We will find out at 4:20 which side he's taking in the feud.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
time that there's a supply chain outside, the U.S. or U.S. allied countries, that presents opportunities for what's called in intelligence parlance supply chain operation, which means intelligence operatives, work with the manufacturers to implant, backdoors in the hardware. And without strict oversight of supply chains, it becomes very difficult to certify with any confidence that your hardware doesn't contain these backdoors implanted in supply chain operations. And especially given that would be especially true given the geopolitical situation where China and the United States are in an adversarial posture. I think it's critically important that American officials are aware of the risks posed by Chinese-made hardware.
1248 on the Allman Report. Chris Arp sitting in for the great Jamie Allman today. And you hear that report. It's almost daily now where we're hearing reports of China trying to infiltrate our businesses. They're having these secret police stations set up in these different cities to monitor Chinese nationals, sometimes even arresting some of these people. We heard the very disturbing story a couple of days ago about the 2 Chinese scientists, nationals, who tried to smuggle in this hazardous fungus into the country. They were studying at the University of Michigan. And, when I first heard this story, I was thinking, okay, is this another possibly COVID type of situation? Are they trying to bring this fungus into the United States and maybe put it in some air ducts and, have it spread around and kill people? But as I learn more about this fungus, it's not so much a fungus that will kill you like a virus like COVID. It's a agricultural fungus. And so the potential uses of this fungus is you plant it in a field of barley and wheat and rice or something, and that virus grows and destroys the crop, and voila, you have a famine in our country. And the first thing that I thought about was, the big thing that was going on here in Missouri last year about Chinese farmland. And I think it's very important. I think Americans should own farmland. There are some instances where some conglomerates that are friendly to our nation, like some British conglomerates, may own some farmland in the United States. But those who are our enemies, like China, militarily, should not own farmland in the United States. And I thought about if they designed this fungus and they own thousands and hundreds of thousands of acres of farmland in the United States and in different states, what could stop them from implanting this fungus on one of their farms and wiping out a huge crop and causing a famine here in the United States? Who knows? I mean, I don't trust the Chinese at all. One of the experts that we have on Tim Jones and Chris Arp show is Steve Bucci. He's our military expert from the Heritage Foundation. And he explained to us why China calls itself the Middle Kingdom. They call themselves that is because they think that they should be the center of the earth when it comes to wealth, when it comes to influence, and that every other nation on this country is surrounded by them. They are the Middle Kingdom. They are the focus point. And you see all of this espionage. You see all of the stealing of intellectual property by our companies that try to do business there. We know that the Wuhan virus came from the Wuhan lab. It killed 1 million people here in the United States, I think, or worldwide. It's killed several thousand people here in the United States. I don't think there's much doubt where that came from. And instead of China doing the right thing and letting the world know that they were responsible for this, they were doing study on these viruses and letting the world scientists come in and do research and find out exactly how this virus happened so that we could stop the spread of it. Of course, they, secretive country, and they're not going to do that. But they're just they just frighten me to death. And you would have thought that the United States would have learned our lesson during COVID. First, the virus comes from them, and then we're learning that our PPE, the majority of it comes from China. We learned that a lot of our medicine, our pharmaceuticals, they're made in China and in India. And it should have been a wake-up call for us to realize that things like this are national security items. Yes, maybe companies can do it cheaper over in these other countries. I get that. But when it comes to the health of Americans, the drugs that we need during pandemics, the materials that we need during pandemics, not having that and depending on another country for that is just insane to me. It's like the equivalent of us depending on Russia and China for the uranium we need for our nuclear weapons. I'm like, yeah, they may sell it to us during a time of peace, but what happens during a time of war? They're going to say, sorry, we don't have that for you. And we've seen a little bit of what can happen with that. When President Trump placed these tariffs on China, China retaliated by not selling rare earth magnets and rare earth materials. And a lot of those materials is what our industries need to function, but also our military needs these rare earth materials for these fighter jets and these 21st century weapons. So China knows that they can use things like that as a weapon. And why can't they use PPE and pharmaceuticals as a weapon as well? What do you think, Ethan?
Man, I mean, you're definitely right. And it's unfortunate that we've given them so much power over us by letting them produce just so many things that we should be producing ourselves here.
We should be producing our drugs here.
Why wouldn't we?
Period.
I mean, why would you give them that level of control over us? And, it doesn't seem like it's getting any better for us. I don't know. I hope it is. But even still, the things that I buy every day on Amazon are still coming from China, and they're still,
Can I did a little test one time, and I went to my drawers. I went to different items that I own. I was like, I'm gonna try to find something that is not made in China. Ethan, it's very difficult to find anything that's not stamped made in China.
Look, here's my unfortunate story. This bothers me what I'm about to tell you, but the Chinese stuff is supposed to be worse quality, at least, right? The joke is that if it's made in China, it's worse quality. But I don't know, man.
I've seen some Temu goods.
I've reached the point where where when I try to buy from non-Chinese sellers, sometimes I actually have a worse experience. And that upsets me. I'm like, man, we've given them so much time to produce all the things we should have been making that they're actually good at it now, which makes it harder for us to compete with their products. So then I have to buy Chinese.
I remember when I was a younger man, Ethan, and when they were trying to bring China into the family of nations, and there was this thing called most favored nation status. And this is when George H.W. Bush was president. And George H.W. Bush and other Western leaders were saying that China is an emerging economy, but if we can bring them into the trading bloc and open up their country, then that will create democracy in China. That'll open them up. People will experience freedom from having a good economic situation, and hopefully it'll be peacefully. But if it's not, the people overthrow the Chinese government. The exact opposite happened is China got rich and the communists got even more entrenched in the government. And because they got rich, they actually believe that their style of capitalism is actually better than ours.
And people are no more free. And I don't think that's been beneficial for the people of either country.
I agree with you, my friend. All right. That is producer Ethan. I'm Chris Arps. Tim Jones and Chris Arps show coming on later at 4 o'clock. We'll be back on the Allman Report on 101.9 94.1 News Talk STL.
It's It's JC's Wayback Machine. 3 big hours of great tunes from the 90s, 80s, and 70s. Plus bits and pieces that'll take you back to the best years of your past.
It's the 50th anniversary of the release of Jaws. You'll hear my exclusive one-on-one interview with the reclusive Richard Dreyfuss. Plus a tremendous live performance by George Harrison and Eric Clapton of a Beatles classic, all presented by the Weber Automotive Group.
It's JC's Wayback Machine. Every Saturday night, 6 to 9 on News Talk STL.
Hey, it's Vic Porcelli here with our great friend Chris Cooper from Serenity Wealth Management. Hi, Chris.
How are you, Vic?
I don't want to put anybody else down, but when you go up and visit you at Serenity Wealth, your place looks like home.
So a lot of financial advisory offices, they have, the big mahogany desk or the big marble entryways and things like that. The stock market channel on the TV when you walk in the door, right? That doesn't really drive a good conversation. Good financial guidance and advice starts with a good conversation. People are nervous. People are afraid to talk about finances, right? And so you can see a little standoffish. Well, my objective is to try to have a good, casual conversation. By having those conversations about life, goals, objectives, it's what makes me understand what our financials are supposed to fund.
So if somebody does want to have a good conversation, how do they do that? How do they find you?
Our website is the best way to do that because you can get all the information you need, understand where we are, get a little bit more information, all that. SerenityWealthNow.com.
Reach out to Chris and Stacy today at SerenityWealthNow.com.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors, LLC.
Happy Father's Day.
For Father's Day, families everywhere giving dads 40% of the effort they put into Mother's Day.
Dad, I love you.
I appreciate everything you've done for me and all the sacrifices.
I love you, Dad.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day for everybody.
Happy Father's Day.
My father's a hero.
Thank you for everything, Pops.
Happy Father's Day from some of Dad's favorites: Ray Ray's Kettle Corn, Pretty Little Paws, the Augusta Chamber of Commerce, and News Talk STL.
KLGY HD3 Clay, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. Veterans gathered Friday in Normandy to mark the 81st anniversary of the D-Day landings, a pivotal moment in World War II that eventually led to the collapse of Adolf Hitler's regime. More on this from correspondent Bernie Bennett.
Along the coastline and near the D-Day landing beaches, tens of thousands of onlookers attended the commemorations, which included parachute jumps, flyovers, remembrance ceremonies, parades, and historical reenactments. Many were there to cheer the ever-dwindling number of surviving veterans in their late 90s and older. All remembered the thousands who died. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth commemorated the anniversary of the D-Day landings, in which American soldiers played a leading role, with veterans at the American Cemetery overlooking the shore in the village of Coville-sur-Mer. Bernie Bennett reporting.
Also at townhall.com, on the battlefront, Ukrainian officials say Russia targeting 6 regions of Ukraine with 407 drones and 44 missiles in one of its largest aerial attacks of the 3-year war. The nighttime assault killed at least 5 people and injured another 50. The Israeli military struck several sites in Beirut's southern suburbs.
The Israeli authorities say they are targeting Hezbollah members or facilities that are being used by Hezbollah, and they say that these are violations of the ceasefire deal. So there is a ceasefire in place here in Lebanon. It came into force in November, ending more than a year of conflict between Hezbollah and Israel. The Lebanese authorities say, well, look, these attacks are violations of the deal. The presence of the Israeli military in 5 locations in the south of the country is also a violation.
BBC correspondent Hugo Bachega. The Israeli army said in a statement Hezbollah was working to produce thousands of drones under the guidance and financing of Iranian terrorist groups. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Mike Gallagher here, host of The Mike Gallagher Show. If you know me, you know I only put my name behind people and companies I trust. When it comes to mortgages, I trust Mike and Brian at Fellowship Home Loans. They're not just friends. They've done loans for me, my family. I've seen firsthand how they treat every client like their family. And these days, that personal touch really matters. With the cost of everything up, you might be looking for ways to free up cash. Maybe you're thinking about a cash-out refi or HELOC to finish some home projects, consolidate debt, or just get ahead financially. Fellowship is a full-service direct lender, not a broker. They cut out the middleman. That means faster decisions, fewer fees, and less stress. Whether you're buying your first home, downsizing, or refinancing to get some breathing room, they'll tailor fit the loan to your life. Get started at fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G. fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, or call 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 819382.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Our active pattern remains with showers and storms into the early afternoon, but I do expect the rain and storm chances to diminish by the time we head into the evening, which means we should have good weather for the Cardinals game tonight. With showers and a lot of cloud cover overhead, temperatures only topping in the mid-70s. Keep an eye on the weekend as strong to severe storms are possible. Both Saturday and Sunday are first alert weather days. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Leah Hill.
Are you in a constant battle with mosquitoes outside your house? Well, stop smacking yourself in the face and call Mosquito Joe. Whether it's playing ball with the kids or cooking out with friends, Mosquito Joe treatments allow you to enjoy your yard without the nuisance of pesky mosquitoes, ticks, and fleas. No more itching and scratching, and no more wasting time on smelly products that don't work. Visit MosquitoJoe.com or call 855-ASK-A-JOE to get more information and a free quote. With Mosquito Joe, outside is fun again.
Craving the most delicious pizza in town? Head to Monocle's on Highway K in the heart of O'Fallon. From thin crust to pan pizza, gluten-free options, and every topping imaginable. Monocle's, as you covered. Indulge in mouth-watering calzones, party-sized salads, and our famous sweet and tart dressing. Family-owned and locally operated, Monocle's serves up love and care with every bite. Dine in or carry out, and don't forget to try our banana-licious monkey bread for dessert. Order online at monocles.com or stop in today and tell them News Talk STL sent you.
Attention, fellow conservative investors. What does the name Reagan mean to you? It stands for being the ultimate conservative. It also stands for the Reagan Gold Group. Do you see storm clouds approaching? The stock market hates uncertainty, and there are plenty of reasons to be concerned. High inflation, unstable debt, and economic uncertainty are just a few. You have car insurance, homeowners insurance, and life insurance. But do you have insurance for your retirement savings and your 401k? We urge all fellow conservative investors to learn about the one asset that could help ensure your nest egg doesn't crack under economic pressure. GOLD, gold. Call the one name any conservative investor needs to know about. Reagan Gold Group.
800-251-7963. 800-251-7963. 800-251-7963. That's 800-251-7963.
This is 1019 and 94.1.
You know, millennial Trump supporter. I listen to it like every day. Like, seriously, you get it.
News Talk STL. This hour of the Allman Report brought to you by Proctor Drapery Blinds and Shutters. Proctor, spelled like doctor. ProctorDrapery.com.
We have to come to a place in Congress where it is no longer a political issue, but we see it as an existential issue for the country. If we don't have avenues for people to come here legally to work or to build a home here, I'm going to be really crude right now. We're not going to have anybody around to wipe our asses because we don't have enough people.
106 on the Allman Report. Hello, happy Friday. Chris Arp sitting in for Jamie today. Well, all of those of you who are Hispanic heritage or those of you who support illegal immigrants, that Democratic representative there from Vermont tells you exactly what your worth is to them here in this country. You are here to wipe their I did it for you, Ethan.
I think that's allowed. I think we could say
okay,
that.
Yeah, I did it.
We just don't want to.
I did it for you. So, wow. I mean, I guess in a moment of candor there, she basically said that we need you to pick our fruit and to wipe our behinds and do the menial task because we're too good for that. And that's what you're really here for. That's what you're going to do to add to the productivity of this country. Boy, that's some honesty there.
God, it reminds me of that legendary old clip, man. It's been a few years now, but was it Kelly Osbourne on one of those female talk shows? And that's exactly what she said about the Latinos in America.
Yeah.
And it was like she was trying to make a point. Oh my God, it's so funny, right? Because she's like, Trump, if you deport them, who's going to clean our toilets?
Yeah,
and then
I remember that.
Yeah, and everybody's like, hang on, that was racist. Yeah. You can't.
Don't they
that.
call that foot and mouth disease?
Oh my God,
or that's something
the cow.
That's something the cows get or something. Either before we go forward, I should know this, and I apologize for this. The shows, tell everyone the shows that you are producing and working on.
Right. Okay. Right.
I should have done that at the beginning, so I deeply apologize.
I love working with you because you always give me the chance to do that.
Go for it.
But man, I used to do Jamie's show just a few months ago when he was in the evening slot. So I was there for Good Evening This Evening. That was the Ethan producer era. I believe right now it's Good Afternoon.
Good afternoon. It's not as good as Good Morning.
I know, and he still says that on accident sometimes. I'm not sure when the last time he messed that up is, but no, I did the Jamie's evening show, and right now I'm just on call, so I'm okay. That's what I'm doing now is being here for you.
And that is Ethan V sitting in for the great Stell. I'm sitting in for the great Jamie Allman, and hope we're giving you a pretty good show. I teased it a little earlier. Christiane Amanpour. Do you know who she is? Have you heard of her?
No, actually.
She is a very smug British woman. She's of Lebanese descent, I think. She was born in Britain, but she's of Lebanese descent. Amanpour. She said this on Wednesday after traveling to the United States last month, that she took extensive precautions when traveling to the U.S. for a speech at Harvard, treating the trip with the same caution as if she were going to North Korea. Wow. She took these precautions after hearing reports of British citizens being stopped and questioned for hours at U.S. borders amid escalating Trump administrative travel bans. Amanpour left behind her mobile phone and iPad, carried only a burner phone with a few contacts, and consulted CNN security before the trip, which went out without incident. Surprise, surprise. She shared that due to her high profile, she approached her trip to the U.S. with the same caution one might use when traveling to a highly restrictive country like North Korea, yet was pleasantly surprised by the kindness of the immigration officer in Boston. These folks.
How dramatic.
She didn't take her, took a burner phone. I mean, come on, Christiane. I mean, that's a little overkill, I think. One thing that hasn't been getting a lot of attention is because they learned the first time around, the president has issued a new travel ban against 9 countries that I think, and not hearing a lot of blowback from the left as you did last time. The first version of those travel restrictions were not upheld because the court wanted to see what was your methodology. That was Chad Wolf, acting DHS secretary during the president's first term. And he said, once you went back and further validated it and showed the court, they affirmed it. So I definitely think that they built on that and then probably expanded it as well. So president has issued another travel ban. This one will likely hold up in court because the last one did after it was modified. But we are hearing very, very little from the left. And it makes you almost wonder, Tim and I talk about this often. The immigration issue is probably a 90-10 issue for Republicans. All sides want to see the border closed and want to see it sealed. Are they learning that if they have a mad cry about the travel ban from these countries, that there could be some blowback because of that? Are they finally learning? I doubt it, but I find that very, very curious that they aren't, they're not screaming bloody murder. Chad, a country in Northern Africa, a country that was affected by the ban, said it would suspend visas to U.S. citizens. Ethan, do you have a trip planned to Chad coming up?
Right. I'm just now remembering Chad as a country. So,
yeah, no trips to Chad coming up because you might have some problems. They suspended U.S. visas. And Venezuela, you got any trips to Venezuela coming up?
Good God, no.
Well, they told their citizens that coming to the U.S. is a great risk. Yeah, go figure. ICE was promising 3,000. Stephen Miller was promising 3,000 arrests a day. They have not been reaching that level, and he reportedly told folks that if you don't get those arrests up to 3,000, there will be some firings. So we've seen a mad push into arresting illegal aliens recently. Yesterday, they topped a record 2,000 a day, and it's now top 100,000 people have been deported since Donald Trump took office. It's kind of cold, Ethan, the way they kind of arrested some of these folks and raised up the numbers. But hey, you're illegal, so it is what it is. But what they did was some of these folks were deemed not a flight risk, not deemed high security. So what they basically did was give them ankle bracelets or just let them go and, come back for your later court hearing because they had applied for asylum, even though they were illegal. Well, the Trump administration sent them all emails and text messages say, hey, you need to come down to the office and report. And when they went down to the office to report, they were arrested and on their way back to their home country. It's kind of cold, kind of devious, but they are here illegally. And
yeah, that does feel a little cold. But I mean, I don't know. Being in a country illegally, I mean, what can you expect?
I loved it though. It was like, yeah, show up. We need to talk to you. Oh yeah, guess what? We need to talk to you. There's another case. There's a lot of money that needs to be spent on these immigrants when it comes to salaries, when it comes to more officers, when it comes to more space. That's one of the reasons why the big, beautiful bill needs to pass. There are hundreds of millions of dollars in this for more money for security. We have these extradition treaties, in a sense, with these different countries. Some of these illegal immigrant nationals, their home countries will not take them back. We don't want them here. So you've heard the reports. The president has made deals with certain countries to take them. Some of these countries, I think, have been specifically chosen. One, the United States is paying them, so they need the money. I think some of these countries also were chosen as a deterrent factor because you think about it. Okay, you're sitting somewhere in Central America. You're not in your best situation. You think about America, if I can just make it up to the border, get in, I can get me a job under the cover. I can live the American dream. Now you have to think about that. If I do get into the country and I get caught, I could be sent to Libya. I could be sent to the Sudan. I could be sent to Gitmo, or I could be sent to some country that's not very hospitable. So I think that is a huge deterrent. I say all that is because a federal judge recently interrupted an immigrations and ICE custom enforcement deportation flight. They were taking Cuban migrants from Cuba, Vietnam, Myanmar, Laos, and Mexico to South Sudan 2 weeks ago. But a federal judge said that flight has to be returned. You have to bring those people back so they can get due process. Well, I don't blame the Trump administration because they know that once they bring these people back, that the courts will protect these people forever and they won't be able to deport them. So what the Trump administration did was the plane stopped off in Djibouti in Africa, and they grabbed a shipping container, made it a makeshift kind of jail, and put it on a military base there in Djibouti, American military base. And that's where these migrants are being held. Unfortunately, because they didn't think that this was going to be a long-term situation. There are 8 workers, ICE workers with them, with these detainees. They don't have the best sanitary conditions. There are 3 officers, 8 detainees at the military base. The officers do not have body armor or other gear to protect themselves, and it's 100 degrees during the day, and there is a war that is going on near the area. This is a bad situation. I'm especially sorry for this situation for the ICE officers, but when it comes to the illegal immigrants, I don't have any sympathy for you at all. Go ahead, Ethan.
You're right.
I
That
don't.
is a deterrent, right? I mean, if you knew that this is the sort of condition you might end up in if you were traveling, into a country illegally,
Why come?
You might just figure out how to make it work at home.
Yeah, I mean, because Trump's not messing around. I mean, he sent people to Guantanamo. He's sending. You're not getting deported to like the south of France or Germany or somewhere.
You're going places I don't think anybody really wants to go ever. And God forbid, like you said, near a war, living in a shipping container. Like, okay, enough of that. I think I'll just stay home.
And one of the arguments that the left always made about, well, we've got 20 million people in this country. It's an impossibility to round them all up and send them home. And that was always their argument for amnesty or some type of legalization. And my counter argument always was, if you make it impossible for these folks to earn a living, if you tell employers that if you knowingly hire an illegal immigrant, that one, you're going to pay a $10,000 fine for every single illegal immigrant that you hire, and the CEO, the CFO, and everybody else that's in high level leadership in that company, you have the potential to be criminally liable for those actions. I think you would see illegal immigration dry up almost overnight, because one, corporate executives don't want to go to jail. They don't want to have heavy fines on their companies. And two, if you're an illegal immigrant, why are you coming to the United States when you can't protect yourself? Because it's going to be almost impossible for you to get a job.
Oh, you're right.
That's a deterrent.
You would not have to round them up if you just made it impossible for them to meaningfully live here. And you're right. And we can do that. We have the tools to do that. We have the means to do that.
Why do you and I, just two schmucks on the radio from St. Louis, how come we could figure out such a common sense solution?
Yeah, I find myself saying that a lot when I'm listening.
Just some
to
common
station.
schmuck from St. Louis, flyover country. How come we have the solution, but they can?
I guess maybe they don't want to find the solution. I don't know.
You got any big plans this weekend? What are you doing this weekend?
Oh man, I can't even.
that fun filled, huh?
Listen, I've been. I shouldn't even be talking about this. I've been properly addicted to a video game all week, so I just need to detox from that. I'm probably gonna go touch some grass.
You want to talk about it a little bit?
No, I shouldn't.
Hey, you want to talk about it?
Just these days, the way video games are, some of them are like they're like a real artistic experience,
wow.
And but you can pour 100 hours into them, and yeah, like I said, this weekend, I think my plan is to go on a walk outside and just experience the nature.
I was telling you, I feel old, because you didn't think of, you didn't know about Foghat.
Yeah.
I really feel old because I know the video games that you play and the games that I played, like Donkey Kong and Defender, are just light years in.
There's a bar though that I go to that has a Defender machine, man, and I'm trying to get good at Defender.
Dude,
I'm trying to set the high score.
That was my machine. I lived over by Jamestown Mall, and we had an Aladdin's Castle up there.
Yeah,
and I spent a lot of money. The worst thing that happened for me at amusement, what do they call those things? Aladdin's arcades, is when how you put the dollar in, you get your tokens, or you get your. The bad thing is when they did that thing, you could put $5 in. I remember when
my God.
I remember when they did that. It was like, oh, you can put $5 in and you get 50 tokens. They gave you like an extra 3 to make you feel like you were getting a deal.
But it's even worse now because at least when you've got the physical tokens in your hand, you know what you're spending.
Yeah.
But now you get Dave & Buster's, and what they do is they give you that swipe card.
Oh,
and so you don't even feel the spending because you don't, you just load up this card and you just keep. It totally changes the mental.
Now I'm going to take people that are my age. I'm going to take all y'all back for just a minute here. This is the thing that I used to really hate in video arcades. One of the etiquette things that you would do, because if a game was really popular, of course, people are going to be sitting there waiting for the game. So what you would do to show that you had next, you would put like your tokens while the person is playing the game. You would put like 2 or 3 tokens on the video game to let them know that you're next. That's some BS, man. It's like, I'm playing the game. Why are you putting your tokens and interrupting my space? Don't you think that was kind of I hated that.
Don't touch my machine while I'm setting a high score, man. I mean, you're gonna cost me this.
But that was the thing. That's how you told people that you were next. You put your quarters or your tokens.
It's actually
up on
really
the machine.
cool. I wish I had ever been at an arcade that was that popular. That would have felt cool. But
oh, you really make me feel old. All right. 122 on the Allman Report. Chris Arp sitting in for the great Jamie Allman. You're listening to 1019 94.1 News Talk STL, number one for live and local conservative talk.
I think we should be able to have a civil conversation.
The news and talk that matters to St. Louis.
This conversation has completely made me crazy.
This is complete insanity.
News Talk STL.
Clayton Sleep. People, let me tell you something. Sleep is an important part of your life and should be. And it's an important part of your holistic life. It is an important part of your mental stability and your mood. It's an important part of your weight, if you can believe that. If you're not getting a lot of sleep, what's happening is your body is shutting down metabolically. So that means that you're trying to figure out, why am I gaining weight? What's going on? It's because you're not sleeping and your body isn't in its metabolistic mode. So that is a part of it. That is the holistic approach that Dr. Joe Ogile and the Clayton Sleep Institute take to everything that you need to make yourself happy and also rested. So if you have sleep apnea, Dr. Ogile has a plan for you. Whether you want to go to the boutique hotel like rooms that they have at their laboratories, and of course you have a night's sleep, somebody monitors you all night long. They have people who work all night long monitoring you, and then they download everything, and then they have a plan for you, an action plan. They also have take-home apparatus for you, so you don't have to necessarily go to the laboratories. They also deal with insomnia. If you're kind of having that extra glass of whiskey or something just to get yourself to sleep, you might want to change it up a little bit and figure it out. Dr. Ogile will help you do that. Even helps little kids who can't get to sleep. You got a 2-year-old, you can't get to bed. He can help you with that as well. ClaytonSleep.com. Joe Ogile, a strong supporter and longtime supporter of free, common sense, conservative radio.
No pain, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Never paint again with Rhino Shield. Listen to what a couple of happy customers have to say.
My family's business is over 10,000 square feet, and it did not have the curb appeal I wanted. Our building was really faded. You came out, you gave me all of these options that would fit my building. I don't want to have to paint my building again. 25 years is a long time to not have to worry about the outside maintenance of your building as far as paint. That's a no-brainer. That's why Rhino Shield worked for me.
What a wonderful job they did. It's beautiful. They were very thoughtful, kind, considerate guys. Appreciate all the work that these two young men did.
Call Rhino Shield, 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
No pain, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
All the information I need on the drive to work.
Mike Ferguson in the morning. I keep it on throughout the day, whether it's local, national, or something big that's happening overseas.
News, analysis, and opinion.
St. Louis is #1 for conservative talk.
News Talk STL.
Here 126 on the Allman Report. Chris Arp sitting in for the great Jamie Allman. And Ethan and I were just having a good time here reminiscing about the great 80s video games. I almost have to forget that he's probably 30 years younger than me. But I love the fact that, the video games that you play are far, far more advanced than what I've ever played. But it's kind of cool that you think Defender is a cool game. Tell me what you said about it.
So look, man, because I go to this in the Central West End. There's a bar called Up Down, and that place is hopping, man. And
Yeah.
it's got real old machines, like real, no reproduction in there, and it's all
the original 80s.
It's awesome, and they got their Defender machine in there, and I said I'm gonna go set the high score on that, but that particular game is just unintuitive controls. It's just hard, you're driving a spaceship around, and a lot of things coming at you, and I think it's harder than any game I've played that's been any newer than that.
And that's, like I said, that's very surprising to me because, the games nowadays, I mean, they're so graphically beautiful, and I would think that you have to be super, super coordinated to be able to handle these games. And I look at, Defender compared to what you play is pretty primitive. But as you said, you did have to kind of have some coordination because it was a left hand you had to use, then the right hand, and then on your right hand there were 2 buttons that you used to fire and blow up stuff.
I feel like they were designed. I guess they were designed back then to make you spend your quarters. So they're trying to make you lose as quickly as you can, and that game does it.
Yeah, I loved it. One of my all-time favorite games. I'm going to tell one story about this, and I'm going to move on. But
Good.
I remember a buddy of mine. We were this was like 2000, early 2000s. Hadn't played Defender in years. Loved it. And we were in the not in the Central West End. We were on Cleves Landing. And I'll never forget this. We were walking up. We were going to a restaurant or bar or something. And I told my friend, I said, Tony, man, I would do anything just to play just Defender one last time. I swear, as soon as I said that, he tapped me on the shoulder. He pointed and he looked. And walking up the street, you could see into the basement of this bar. And in the basement of the bar was a Defender machine. It was surreal. I hadn't played the game in probably 20 years. And I just so happened said, I'd love to play this game again where Walkie points. There it is.
You keep your eyes peeled. They machines show up around town for some reason.
Tell me this. I'm curious. Do other folks of your generation, do they play 80s games?
Nope.
Or okay.
Nah. It's a little bit of a quirk on me to do that. But yeah, nobody else wants to set a high score anymore.
There was a guy, I can't think of his screen name, but I mean, he would always set the high score. And he would set the high score like for the next 10 slots.
Yeah. There's always that guy that just runs the whole screen, and you're like, whatever, man. I'm never touching that.
And you can get a little, and he got kind of famous. Some people knew what he looked like when he'd come in. I don't think I ever met the guy, but got kind of famous because he would always set the high score for the thing, and he would set it where no one else could even come close.
There's a guy like that at the bar in the Central West End. There's a guy like that. I did meet him, and he did beat me at.
What is your highest score?
Oh man,
come on, at least you're 6 digits.
No, on that game, did I make 10,000, 20,000? Probably 60,000 if I remember,
Okay.
but I don't remember where No, it wasn't 6 digits. No, no, I didn't make it there. Yeah, no, they do. It's because they do a big competition there once a year called the King of Cade. And it's
King of Cade,
King of the Arcade.
Okay.
And you go in and they do like an elimination style tournament where they put you on the machine and you both play right there and you just try to set the higher score in that. And so every year that comes down, this guy named Jeff comes out, and Jeff owns the place.
Is he young? Is young guy?
Jeff is probably
my age.
I'm guessing about 50.
Yeah. Oh, he played it as a kid then.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's awesome. You love to see that he's coming out. He's out here for the love of this stuff that he grew up with.
Or he has no life. One of them.
But he was such a nice guy, and I almost had him. But
Good deal. All right. One of my favorite all-time movies is Ferris Bueller's Day Off. You've seen that?
I have, yeah.
I graduated in 84, came out in 86. One of the best just coming of age kind of movies. Have you seen Matthew Broderick lately? It's amazing how old he's got. He always had a young face.
He did. He's a real baby face guy.
And he is starting to kind of show his age. But you remember that vest that Matthew Broderick wore in Ferris Bueller's Day Off? Kind of the orange black kind of vest thing. Well, that's going to be brought up for auction, Ethan. And what do you think Ferris Bueller's vest is auctioning for at Sotheby's? What would you put that at?
I'm just going to say 700,000.
Close. The pre-sale estimate is $300,000 to $600,000 for the vest. That's ridiculous. I mean, when you could spend $600,000 for something like that, that's what you call just stupid money. I don't care. I'll spend that.
What would you do? You wouldn't wear it, would you?
Nah, I guess you put it in a like a vacuum sealed
mannequin. You got to put it on some wax Matthew Broderick remake.
Also, according to this, also the baseball used in the movie and a ticket stub from the game where the film that was going on when they filmed it, that's going to be auctioned off as well. So Matthew Broderick, he was always a few years older than me. So I'm 59. He's probably 64, 65. And he was like 23 years old when he played like a 17-year-old kid. All of them were in their 20s. I think the one that the hockey were the Detroit Red Wings, I think he was like 27 or 28 playing like
crazy?
a teenager. Like a teenager.
See, stuff like that always made me feel so baby faced when I was in high school. I was like, oh man, why do these people look so old? Well, it's actually because they were old.
Yeah. Ralph Macchio, the same. He's finally looking his age.
Ralph Macchio is also very baby faced. Man,
not anymore though.
Okay.
Yeah, not anymore. Yeah, he looks his age now. And then I hate it too when sometimes when people are getting older and gray hair and everything and they dye their hair, I guess they think that makes them look younger. But to me, when it looks so obvious that you're dyeing your hair, it makes you look older to me. Just if you're graying, just let yourself go gray, because trying to darken it makes you look worse to me. My humble opinion.
Nothing wrong with going gray anyway.
No, look at me. I've almost completely white beard. So I understand that. You know, one thing, Ethan, one of the jokes about politics is they say that politics is Hollywood for ugly people. That's been a long running joke. Because you get
I get it now. I never thought of it that way.
It is, but they do. Politics is Hollywood for ugly people, because some of these senators and stuff, you do become kind of prominent. You do shows, you get known. One of the things in Hollywood, of course, people get plastic surgery. You want to stay beautiful forever so you can keep getting roles and everything. Well, Political Magazine has a report that says a certain plastic surgery procedure is booming among Washington men. The surgeons and dermatologists who treat the DC power class will never share their patient's secret. Some doctors strategically time surgeries during congressional recess, and many go out of their way to make sure their clients aren't even seen entering the office, using a spy movie-like web of hidden entries and secret back doors. And any politician that is going through all of that to get a facelift, dude, you got some issues. They also tell you that among the political power set, what do you think men are having done, Ethan?
It's gotta be hair, right?
Keep going. Nope.
Oh no, there's what other
get your mind out of the gutter there,
okay.
Ethan. Okay.
Right. What would you want done?
I guess here, these men in DC, they want a power jaw.
Right. I should have known, right? Yeah, because that's what the teenagers want now too. People think that they can change their jawline. I'm not sure you can.
I mean, I guess a square jaw makes you look more studly or something, or what?
Can they do implants down like under your jaw? Can they do that now?
I think you can do anything as long as you want to give somebody some money. I think.
Oh man,
because if you see some of these celebrities and some of these people that have had so many plastic surgeries that they don't even look human anymore, will tell you that you give somebody enough money, they will give you plastic surgery to look. Michael Jackson. I mean, he didn't even. I was watching something. I was watching an old. I've gotten addicted to like reels, like on Facebook and stuff, because they do the algorithm and and it was an old interview that Michael Jackson did with the reporter from over in England, Bashir, I think that was his name. And this was a huge interview a few years ago, Ethan. But he was confronting Michael Jackson about all of the plastic surgery that he had. And he's like, Michael, it's rumored that you've had surgery on your eyes. Oh no, I haven't. It's a lie. And there's rumors that you've had the dimple put in your chin. Oh no, they're just lies. And there's rumors. I'm like, dude, look at yourself. Come on. I mean, he denied every single thing that he said. He said he hadn't had any plastic surgery at all. That all of a sudden Michael Jackson has a dimple in his chin when with the Jackson 5, he did not have one.
I feel like if I ever got plastic surgery, I would just tell people if they asked. I don't know, right? I mean,
because they know.
Right? Because they know. I mean, I'm not gonna show up with a bigger jaw and like, what are people thinking?
Or just not looking like you. I mean,
God forbid, just showing up with
Kenny Rogers at the end of his life. I didn't recognize him.
Well,
look at if you see him.
I'm gonna have to look
him up. He looks like an entirely different person. I tell you, someone else who hasn't aged well with their plastic surgery is Goldie Hawn.
Wow.
Doesn't he? He's dead now, right? Yeah. He looks like a completely different person, doesn't he?
Yeah, his eyes, man. They pulled his eyes too much.
It's always the eyes that give you away with the plastic surgery. The eyes do it every single time because you just don't look like the same person anymore, and your eyes look all squinty. They look like they're in the middle of your forehead. Oh yeah, you see the comparison there.
Yep, I got that pulled up. I mean, it's too bad that people do that because again, it doesn't look better. I think humans naturally age pretty gracefully. Just let it happen.
But you know what? Some of these folks that overdo plastic surgery, they'll try to make themselves look like a human Barbie doll. You've seen these people, and they're just, and they'll look at themselves and they look like absolute freaks, but they think that they look beautiful. They look, great. It's amazing that you can, go blind yourself with your own self image like that.
It's a weird psychology thing. Who knows who gets it? I mean, it's like I think everybody's got some degree of what is the word for that? Like dysphoria or dysmorphia. So I think everybody has some degree of not knowing, quote unquote, what they look like.
I talked about this a couple of weeks ago. There was a book that I read early. Actually, my father had it, but it had been in the drawer a long time. And when my parents got divorced, when I became older, I was like, I've seen this book for years. Let me read it and see what it's about. But it was a book, and I mentioned it on my show. It was a book called Psycho-Cybernetics by a plastic surgeon named Dr. Maxwell Maltz. He died in 1974, but he wrote a groundbreaking book on psychology. Yes, a plastic surgeon. And the reason how he was able to do that, there was this really pretty girl that had been in a car accident, and she had a scar on her face, and it really made her feel ugly and really mess with her self-esteem. And so she went to Dr. Maltz. He performed surgery on her, bandaged her up, told her to come back in a month, of course, and let's see how it healed up. She comes back. He takes the bandages off. Dr. Maltz is very proud of his work because the scar is gone. It's completely healed. She's back to her beauty. And so the girl looks at the scar. He gives her a mirror. She looks at the mirror and she says, Dr. Maltz, she's like, I see that the scar is gone, but I don't feel any better. And that started him on this he basically started the field of self-image psychology. That was such a groundbreaking discovery to him that even though he removed the physical scar, her self-image of herself was still of that person with that scar. And even though it was gone, she hadn't changed at all. And his groundbreaking work basically told us we all have a self-image, and that the self-image that you hold in your mind, that is the real you, whether it's positive things or whether it's negative things you've told yourself over and over. That's your self-image, but it's not the real self-image. It's got a deep book, but I truly, truly enjoy it.
I guess that probably explains why people who get plastic surgery go back in repeatedly, right? Because they come out and the procedure was a success, but they don't feel
see
that way.
It was like, no, I just need this one little thing here, and then it's perfect and all that. And they don't realize they're turning themselves into like complete freak shows.
Yeah, it's definitely and most people can't really afford plastic surgery, so they never really get the chance to go through that.
Would you get plastic surgery if you ever had? I thought about it. Like I have a big nose.
Likewise.
And it was something that was like, if I ever have plastic surgery, I would want to probably have my nose fixed. But when I learned that they have to break your nose in order to fix your nose, I was like, yeah, I'll live with it.
Yeah, they'll break your nose. You're gonna have black eyes for however long. It's
yeah, just the thought of someone, even though it's planned, and this is the idea of someone breaking my nose, even though I'm under anesthesia, just was not very appealing to me.
Yeah, Steve-O from Jackass has some commentaries about that, because he is actually
he's actually still alive.
He is. He's doing
okay.
Great,
I was
dude.
wondering because I know one of them was killed or dead or something.
No, Steve-O, if you ever want to go down,
Okay.
here's my addiction to reels was looking at Steve-O clips. He's doing great now, but man, he got the broken nose version of a plastic surgery. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. My other reels I've gone down the dark hole and have gotten addicted to them. And I never watched the show when it was on the air because I thought it was so stupid. And I'm like, I don't want to watch this crap. Cheaters.
Oh wow! Is that like a hidden camera deal?
No. This is people who suspect that their girlfriend or boyfriend or spouse is cheating, and so they hire this private detective agency, and they follow the person around and it only takes about 2 weeks before they get the goods on them, and they follow them around and they take video surveillance and all this stuff, and then they show the spouse the video, the evidence, and then they'll say, we know where they are. They're together now. Do you want to confront them? And they go and confront them. And it's just...
Oh, man, that's some Jerry Springer quality
it is, man.
television.
I've gotten addicted to it. And the thing that cracks me up, all the women who cheat have the same exact excuse. Same exact excuse. And how would you feel as a man if your girlfriend or wife told you, the reason that I'm cheating on you is because you're never home because you're always working?
That is brutal. That is brutal.
So I'm out working for us and doing all this, and you're cheating because I'm never home? Are you kidding me? That's the excuse they use every time. You're never home. So that's why I'm cheating with your brother. And I've seen one of those.
Jesus
yes.
Christ. You're gonna have to go to some therapy for that one, guys.
Yeah, all right. Oh, I can tell you worse. All right. Jamie Allman Report. Chris Arp sitting in for the great Allman. Jamie Allman, we have one more segment left. You are listening to 1019 94.1 News Talk STL.
Success. It's discipline. It's teamwork. It's the drive and passion inside of us that comes before all recognition. It's the best in each of us, made better by the best in all of us. Whatever success looks like to you, Stifel is invested in yours. That's why Stifel is one of the fastest growing global wealth management firms in the country. So whether you're an advisor or an investor, choose Stifel, where success meets success. Stifel Nicholas & Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Tim Jones here. Being a recovering lawyer, don't call me for your legal needs, but you should call Todd Sivia and the fine folks at Sivia Law. At Sivia Law, they'll help you through all of life's transitions, providing you with legal services in the areas of estate planning, elder law, special needs, real estate, personal injury, and much more. Locations across Western Illinois and Eastern Missouri, including right here in Creve Coeur and Wentzville. Call Sivia Law today for any and all of your legal needs. 833-995-WILL. SiviaLaw.com, SiviaLaw.com.
The Herzog Foundation is the vision of its founder, Stanley Herzog, and it exists to promote quality Christ-centered K-12 education nationwide.
Hi, this is Chris Stegall with the Herzog Foundation. We offer a wide variety of resources relevant to today's families, including a free online publication called The Lion. The lion is one of God's most majestic creatures, symbolizing strength and courage. Named for its attributes, the Lion publication carries articles covering a wide range of topics facing American families and culture, especially related to the education of children. The Lion can be found online at readlion.com. That's READ lion.com.
Sign up for The Lion at readlion.com and find dozens of must-read articles published every day. Visit readlion.com and subscribe for the weekly and daily digests so you never miss an article. Readlion.com. That's readlion.com.
This is Mark Harder with RE/MAX Results, the #1 RE/MAX franchise in the region. As a licensed real estate broker with RE/MAX Results for over 20 years, I've seen the ups and downs of many real estate markets, including the one we're in right now. With the spring market in full swing, now is the time to leap into the buying or selling of your home. Someday is not a day. Today is the day to make your move. Call me at 314-852-8933 or email me at markhardersells@gmail.com.
Colombo and Company.
The feud between Donald Trump and Elon Musk has gotten real hot real fast. We'll get you the latest Friday, plus Gabe Pfeiffer, Ken Williams, and the weekend forecast from Steve Templeton.
Live and local weekdays at 2 on News Talk STL.
148. Happy Friday. The Allman Report. Chris Arp sitting in for the great Jamie Allman. On the Wheels of Steel is producer Ethan. Ethan, you have heard of this, I know.
Oh, of course. I know some Led Zeppelin.
All right. Fool in the Rain. This is one of my favorites.
Joey wasn't kidding. Okay, so every song he chose today was the word rain the word rain or storm was in the title of the song.
He did leave one out, though. I told him he should play a little Smokey Robinson, Quiet Storm. You want me to sing it? Quiet storm rolling through my mind.
You going on American Idol?
I will not. I probably will not. I'd probably be one of those reels that.
Hey, dude, you should do it, man. You got to do it.
No.
You don't want Simon Cowell to shoot you down?
I do not. I get shot down enough at home by my wife, so I don't need to have it done on national TV. But yeah, we were talking prior segment during the break, just how you get caught up in these reels, and it's such a mind suck. And I wasn't even going to admit this on the air, but I've like gotten just caught up in, especially the cheater episodes, where I've gone like 2 hours have passed, and I'm like, oh my God, this is 2 hours I'm never going to get back in my life again.
Do you think it's one of those things where we're all ashamed to admit that we do that, just get sucked into these reels?
Yeah, you should, because, why should you gain some entertainment value out of watching somebody who has destroyed their spouse's life and their children's life because they are cheating? I mean, I saw one episode, Joey, where this dude was messing with his girlfriend's aunt. And the aunt was like, yeah, well, you're not taking care of him, so, he came to me, man. Girl.
That's a classic
His
line,
aunt,
too.
I've seen one where it's like two cousins. One cousin's messing with the other cousin's boyfriend. But, it moved me, though, because the one cousin that was messing with the other cousin's boyfriend, they were in the car together and they had the camera on, of course. And she was acting all like, yeah, I've known him longer than you. Yeah, I mess with him and I don't care about it. You can get mad. And, and she started feeling like bad about it and stuff. And like, she was like, she started like crying. And then her cousin who was cheated on, she came over and hugged, across the seat and hugged her. I thought that was, beautiful, a beautiful thing.
That is a deep and rare human bonding experience.
That's just the worst. That's just one of the worst experiences in the world for someone. We've all had it happen. Nathan, don't try to say you haven't, but we've all been cheated on.
No, I won't deny it.
I thought you were gonna say not me.
No.
Not the kid.
No. But some high school sweetheart stuff,
But,
right?
yeah.
It happens. Right?
But it's a devastating thing that someone, you give them your trust, your loyalty, your love, and everything, and they betray that. It's a devastating thing, especially if you're married and have kids and have been married for a long time. Just that act of betrayal is just heartbreaking to see that.
Some people can get through it, I guess. I don't know what the Clintons did.
You know what it was with the Clintons? It was one of those transactional relationships where, okay, this is Hillary. I'm very, very ambitious and I want to go somewhere. Bill Clinton, he's very, very ambitious. He's probably going to be the governor of this small backwater state one day so we can build our power base in Arkansas and maybe one day make it to the White House. I think that was Hillary's plan. I think that's why Hillary could give a rat's behind if Bill's cheating or messing around, because
I think you're right. She probably didn't take that one too hard.
Nah,
maybe.
man, it was all transactional. I can't even imagine them. Maybe at the very beginning of their marriage, maybe they loved each other, but it just seemed to me like it was strictly a transactional type of marriage. Hillary was probably like, look, do your thing and everything. Just, I don't want to hear about it, and keep it behind closed doors. If you're going to bite women's lips and bloody them up and beat women, I don't want to.
Don't tell me.
Don't tell me. I don't want to hear about it. So I don't know. This weekend, big football. You big Battlehawks guy?
No, surprisingly not. No,
Me neither.
Okay, you're not either. Okay.
I did all that I know. I think there's supposed to be a playoff game in St. Louis.
Some people get really into that.
Well, we've lost 2 football teams here, Ethan. So if we get the Battlehawks, who are doing well, you get excited about them. I have to admit my enthusiasm for them has waned a bit. Mainly because I don't know when the games come on. It's kind of like the Cardinals the last few years. I probably have watched 3 games on TV, St. Louis Cardinal games, because I can't find them, and I'm not going to pay for some package for a subpar team.
Oh man, well you're right about that, dude. Like cable, watching the shows you want to watch is harder. I don't even want to tell you how hard it is for me to watch the Olympics when that comes on. So. Finding sports is hard for me.
It's just so frustrating because back in the day, you're like, okay, I know this game is probably going to be here because this is the AFC game. The NFC game is going to be here. Baseball game, Cardinals play on this station. But now it's like, it's a roulette wheel. You got to roll that thing, and it's like, let me see if I can find the game.
You used to be able to just flip through a few channels in your life, and there'd be something on, and now you got to go out of your way. You got to log into your account.
Yeah.
You got to type in your password with your remote, and and all that for the same price as cable was back in the day anyway, because you got to have 4 different subscription services now. Oh no, it's not better.
And I've never really understood. I mean, I hear about the streaming versus cable and all that. To me, it's the same thing, isn't it? I mean, cable, but I know the cable is the underground, but streaming, I guess that's through your computer and stuff.
Yeah, but you're right though. It is effectively the same experience.
Seems like the same thing. I mean, we went to YouTube TV a few years ago, cut the cord. It's much cheaper, and we have news YouTube TV here in the studio watching Newsmax.
That's right. We do run those on the TVs in the studio here, and I do like it if you know how to. There's a bit of a learning curve, but once you know how to navigate it, because YouTube TV is not the same as YouTube. They're completely different. That's weird to me. That took me a while to learn.
It is. And it's amazing, too, just how YouTube has just grown from just some video sharing app to now just the power and how many people view it. And now you can watch NFL games, Christmas NFL games on YouTube. Just amazing.
We stream there right now. We're streaming to YouTube. We don't
we on YouTube?
We do not always like to do that because we always get kicked off. So that's the problem with YouTube is they do censor speech. And if we share some of the truth about COVID or what have you, YouTube does boot us and give us some strikes.
I can't even remember if we're on YouTube or not on YouTube.
We change it. I think the producer does what they feel like with that. Today I clicked YouTube, but it was,
Well, Ethan, this is my second to the last show that I will be hosting for 10 days starting on Sunday. My wife and I will be traveling to Israel for 10 days, and I'm going to be reporting back here on my own show, and Jamie Allman has asked me to do a couple of hits on his show while I'm out. So I'm very much looking forward to the trip and doing that. It'll be like, for Jamie's show, it'll be like midnight in Israel. But I think on Tim's show it'll be even later than that. But it'll be like 4:00 in the afternoon here for Jamie's show, and then it'll be like midnight for my own show. So I'm looking very forward to head to Israel. We're going to all of the sites that you would want to go. We're going to Bethlehem, the Church of the Nativity, the Dead Sea, the Sea of Galilee, the Western Wall.
Wow, man, like I'm listening to the Bible right now.
I'm looking forward to it because people have told me that when you actually go to Israel, that you view the Bible and read the Bible in a whole different light. And as a practicing Christian, I am looking forward to that.
That's awesome.
Ethan, thank you for sitting in today for Stell. Had fun, my friend. You did an excellent job as always. Up next is Tony Colombo, the Colombo Report. Chris Arp sitting in for Jamie Allman on the Allman Report on 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness One. Wellness One is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on Newstalk STL. And you can visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
This is Tony Colombo, and my favorite Capriati sandwich is the cheesesteak made with American Wagyu beef from Snake River Farms, and you have to include a side of their amazing fries. I love Capriati's, and you will too.
Open 9 to 9 daily on Manchester and McKnight in Rock Hill.
Concerned about the condition of your windows driving up your energy bills? I was too. It's only called STL Windows and Doors. Call today for your free in-home estimate and start saving tomorrow. 314-277-5952 or stlwindowsanddoors.com.
Hi, Sean Long from STL Fenceworks. A new fence or deck is an investment in your home and your lifestyle. But how do you ensure that you're getting the most out of that investment? At STL Fenceworks, we know the key is satisfaction. Satisfaction means getting a fence or deck that not only meets your needs, but exceeds your expectations. Satisfaction means working with a team that cares about your project as much as you do. Satisfaction means having confidence in the quality of your new fence or deck, knowing that it was built with the best of materials and workmanship. STL Fenceworks, your satisfaction is our passion. And for me, satisfaction is knowing that providing for your family is how I provide for mine. Visit stlfenceworks.com and experience the satisfaction in making your backyard dreams into a reality.